escapes, right? So this is the second time in 4 episodes. We're only 4 episodes into the season. And we get this creepy shot of Boyd staring at Ava while she's sleeping. And I'm trying to figure out why we keep seeing this view, right, of Boyd staring at Ava while she's asleep. And it feels almost like it's sort of like Boyd contemplating her death or thinking about her death, or sort of almost a foreshadowing of Ava's death. I can't really figure it out.
Sure. It could be that, or is it he's like, maybe he's still unsure as far as what her.
Yeah, he's looking at her and contemplating.
Questions. Yeah. Or he could be like in love with her.
Oh, it could be that too. Although the first time they show him staring at her, there's a lot of menace in that scene. But in this one, there's a little bit less menace because she banged him the night before.
Yeah,
they're acting like newlyweds just because they have a hotel room, which is always a funny thing for me.
Well, I was gonna say it could be like a reverse Thomas Crown. You ever see that Thomas Crown Affair?
Yeah,
remember that movie?
Yeah.
And so, like, what's her name? Renee Russo's character doesn't know if Pierce Brosnan's character is like, for real or whatever.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And to some degree, she doesn't care. She's supposed to be investigating him, but he's got that good dick, so she's like, whatever. Yeah,
exactly.
So Boyd eventually Ava wakes up with Boyd staring at her, and he says, hey, I've got to go. He's meeting Wynn Duffy, and says, stay here, enjoy the hotel. She's going to get a massage or whatever. But she immediately reaches out to and meets with Raylan in the hotel stairs. And she wants to report to him what's happened with Avery Markham. And I have a clip of that.
I came to meet his masters.
He brought you along.
Oh, he sprung for the lovebird package.
Ava, if you're trying to tell me you're sleeping with him, just so we're clear, I ain't asking you to do that.
Are you asking me not to?
I understand you gotta do what you gotta do in a situation like yours.
You think everything's something else. You don't think it could be real. I'm a person. I get lonely, scared.
Remind me why we're here.
You mean in the stairwell? Instead of a room, 2 of us, champagne on ice. What's it like, holding someone's fate in your hands?
Drinking make you a deep thinker.
I'm straight. I want to know, is it a burden? Or is it what gets you out of bed in the morning?
What gets me out of bed lately is helping you fulfill your agreement with us so you don't have to go back to prison.
Avery Markham paid us a visit yesterday.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Has a smell of sulfur to him. Boyd knew him by reputation. Seemed respectful.
So it wasn't a friendly chat.
He brought along a real psycho case. Warned Boyd off any future pursuits.
Tight hair, bushy beard. So, Boyd thought he was pulling off a small potatoes heist, and what he was doing was pissing off the big bad wolf.
This helps, don't it?
Nice to put a face to the shot caller.
So, don't say you and me don't have a special relationship.
Did I say that? Boyd must be wetting his pants thinking about all them piles and piles of money. No wonder you're scared.
So my question for you here after that clip is Ava kind of playing up the whole Raylan and Ava have a special relationship? Why aren't we here in a room together instead of, in the stairwell meeting clandestinely thing? Because she's keeping her sort of options open. The way I see kind of Ava's current situation is she's got a few kind of escape options from the jam that she's found herself in. And one of them is Raylan continuing to kind of protect her from the other forces in the government that want to put her away.
Yeah, it has to figure into her calculations as far as like figuring out how she gets out of this. So yeah, I can see that. I mean, I think it's kind of weird that she comes on to him like that. Like that'd be kind of a turn. If I was in his situation, Raylan's situation,
Yeah.
and I don't think it would be. It wouldn't even enter my mind. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, and he kind of brushes her off in both instances, but he does kind of, when she says don't say that we don't have a special relationship, he does kind of say, now did I ever say that, or something like that, which is which is sort of a little flirty back to her, which strikes me as I guess it's consistent with Raylan's character, right? We've talked a lot about him having a huge blind spot where it comes to women.
Yeah.
And we're continuing to see that here. So
yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. So she gives up Avery Markham, which is great because Raylan had no idea about Avery Markham. She IDs Walker as working for Avery Markham, which allows Raylan to kind of put the dots together on the other issues that he's been dealing with Ty Walker. And now he knows that Avery Markham's buying up all the land in Kentucky, but he still doesn't know why. Ava gets back to her room. Catherine Hale's waiting for her, invites her to lunch. It's a very weird scene because Ava's caught off guard, and it's very menacing because everything Catherine does is menacing, right? She's got this smile on her face, but you know how calculating and dangerous she is the entire time because we've been exposed to that. So there's this hint of menace in everything she says and everything she does. But she does say something that I've heard other smokers say before, which is that they like to stand next to people who still smoke.
Yeah.
Because it kind of gives them the feel of still having smoked. Like I've seen people who even want to hold the cigarette, right? Like there's something about the ritual that that scratches that itch for them.
Yeah. I've never been a smoker myself, so, but I do know people like they smoke when they drink, or like you're saying they smoke. I don't know. It's not the best habit in the world, and it smells.
Yeah. Cigarettes are no good. Don't do those. No. But while Ava's being intimidated by Catherine Hale, Raylan goes to visit Art, and Art's making breakfast, and he's grumpy because he's in a lot of pain. But we find out a few facts about Markham, right? So we learn that Grady Hale and Avery Markham made their living selling weed. We learn that a lot of people in the government believed that Avery Markham was the snitch because when Grady got picked up, he disappeared. And the way Avery kind of papers over that with Catherine in, I think, episode 2 is he says, hey, I knew I was going to get picked up if I stuck around because whoever flipped on Grady was going to flip on me. So he kind of sells it as though he's not the snitch. Catherine believes him to be the snitch. So we'll see kind of where that all goes. The only person who knew was U.S. Attorney Simon Poole, who, as Art says, forgot that when they blew his head off with a shotgun on the corner of some street in Lexington. That's pretty brazen, right? To shoot a U.S. attorney in the head in public. It's one of those things that makes you think that maybe Simon Poole was into something that maybe he shouldn't have been into. Yeah.
Well, we know that whole universe is so corrupt. Like even the prisons are corrupt. Everything's corrupt over there.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So you have to wonder if maybe there's some skeletons in Simon Poole's closet also potentially.
Yeah.
And this is where the title of the episode comes from is because Raylan's telling Art about Avery Markham and all the bad shit he's up to. And Art says, hey, when you stray from the trail, that's when you get lost. And Raylan says, hey, but wait, if your mom tells you to take the trash out and you take the trash out and there's a copperhead out there and you don't do anything about the copperhead, that's not doing what your mom told you to do. You take care of the trash and you take care of the snake. You don't do one and not the other. And so he's kind of looking at this as, hey, I'm gonna take care of two problems at the same time, and I'm not going to have any conflict in my ability to resolve both of those issues. And again, it's Raylan's bravado, I think, sort of here, that's setting him up for potential failure on this. So from there, they need to go back and interrogate Calhoun Schreier, because now they have more information about what's going on. They know the who. Now it's time to figure out the why. And they find out that they've been tracking the offers, second offers, rejected offers, accepted offers. There's this whole ledger that has who offers were made to, whether a second offer was made, whether it was rejected, all of that. And then they notice a pattern with the offers. What they notice is that, hey, one of these offers that was turned down, and the second offer was turned down, and no further offers will be made, was somebody's house who burned down recently. And so Calhoun says, oh, he probably burned it down himself or whatever for the insurance money. And Raylan, who apparently knows this person, says, no way, that person did that. That's not what's going on here. I was trying to figure out, does Calhoun think that he comes to the defense of Ty Walker pretty vociferously here. He says, hey, look, these guys aren't bad guys. They're just, a little on the shady side. Does he actually believe that, do you think?
Maybe he's like denying it, in denial.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, he's in denial because he can't handle the idea that he's working for these real black hats, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe that's what's going on. But we also find out that one of the other properties that was turned down more than once had a furnace fail and kill the owners with carbon monoxide. We find out later in this episode that it was the people who called Ty Walker a peacock. And we reference back to the scene where they're climbing, he and Seabass are climbing out of the car with plastic to basically wrap up the house to suffocate the people inside. So that's clearly what happened here. Tim figures that out. But we get this moment a little bit later. We won't circle back around to it again, but we get this moment after they leave Schreier's office. They go to that house to investigate the furnace failure, and Tim finds that the windows are plasticed and taped. He finds evidence of that. But Raylan has this moment where he's standing on the porch and he's like, he doesn't care if Avery Markham wants to grow weed in Kentucky or whatever, but if he's acting like one of those Old West black hats forcing homesteaders off their land, he's not going to abide that sort of situation. So very much, Raylan putting himself in the lawman Old West fighting, white hat fighting for, truth, justice, and the American way, sort of a lawman there. He's putting himself into those boots.
Yeah. Good for him.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Look, as long as people aren't ending up dead, I'm all for a little bit of, let's make sure bad people can't do bad things, even if they're not, technically against the law.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. All right. And so then we get this scene of, that ends with Catherine presenting Ava with a pile of cocaine and telling her she's going to need it for their plans today. And we don't know what those plans are, but they've got to be fun if you need a pile of cocaine to get through them. But before that, they have a little bit of a conversation about Ava's past, and I have a clip of that.
You were a cheerleader in high school.
I was.
I always wanted to be a cheerleader. Football games. I'd sit high up in those stands and watch those girls bouncing in their skirts. And see how all the players, well, everyone really, was just mesmerized by them.
It was a lot of work. We practiced 5 days a week.
What power those girls have. Yet so few knew how to use it. But you did, huh? You got one of those football players to marry you.
I did. Doesn't mean I had any real power.
Because he beat you senseless.
You know a lot about me.
I know you blew a hole through his chest.
Did you invite me to lunch to talk about my past?
I invited you to lunch to ask you a question.